What's up everybody, this is Yair and today we are going to learn how to draw Vegito, Super Saiyan God. Okay, so today we are going to learn how to draw Super Saiyan God Vegito. If you'll check the description box, you can see all the materials I'm using for this tutorial along with Amazon product links. So first we're going to start by drawing a perfect square, each side suitable paper size. So this is gonna be a 3/4 pose. Then I'm gonna mark the center of his face using this guideline and add the wrinkles between the eyes. Next we are going to draw the eyebrow. As you can see, it gets thicker towards the edge. Gonna add the bump above the eye and we'll use 3 lines to create the eye. Next add the cheek marks and we'll place the iris at the center slightly to the left and draw the pupil, of course. We are going to do the same for the left side, although of course his right eye will be bigger because of the perspective. We'll use 5 lines. We'll give him a nice smirk. And as you can see, the gap between the nose and the mouth is really tiny. We'll draw the bottom lip and then we'll move on to draw the ear. So first I'm gonna start by drawing the shape of the ear and then we'll add all the details. The next step is drawing the hairline. As you can see, it also connects to the center of his face, the previous guideline we used. And now we are going to draw his Potara earring. And we'll also add 1 circle here. Awesome, so now we can draw the hair. I'm gonna start with his 2 spikes on the front. So as you can see, I'm going up and then go down. I'm gonna cover his eye a little bit. So as you can see, 1 line up and then 2 down. And we'll add some lines right there. We're going to do the same process for his right spike. And now we can draw the rest of the spikes, but first I'm gonna draw his neck. And as you can see, because of the Super Saiyan God state, his neck is gonna be a bit thinner. Now we'll draw 1 spike on each side. And then I'm gonna use this guideline to help me keep the right proportions of the hair. And now all you have to do is just add the rest of the spikes. And again, as you can see, I'm mainly using 3 lines to create them. Of course, make sure to draw them with a nice curve. Also, next what we are going to do is draw some random lines from side to side in the direction of the spike. And now we can move on to the torso. So first we're going to add some details to the neck, like the neck muscles and the trachea. Next we are going to draw the trapeze muscles. And we'll draw his upper chest. I'm gonna do some adjustments to the neck muscles because they need to align well. Also, next we are going to draw his bottom shirt and then the shirt on top. Now, as you can see, because of the perspective, his left side will appear smaller than the right. Now what we are going to do is just add the details, add the creases. So we're going to start with the shirt on top and then draw the sleeve of the bottom shirt and also draw his shoulder muscles. We're going to add the rest of the creases. And his left shoulder as well. Awesome, so we are done with the sketching part. And now we're going to use the inking pens. So what we're going to do is use some black pens and we're going to go all over the lines. Now I like to use 0.1 for the entire body. That's the size of the inking pen. But for the facial features I like to use 0.05 just because it allows me to be much more accurate. Awesome, once we are done with the inking process, we are going to get rid of all the lead. I'm using the notorious charcoal eraser, and after that I'm going to use the eraser stick. And make sure to clean it very well, because later on we don't want to smear the lead when we use the Copic markers. Awesome, so once it's clean, we can start the coloring process. I'm gonna use Copic markers. Those are alcohol-based markers, which means they can blend very well. If you don't have any Copic markers, you can use color pencils or just shade the drawing using your HB2 pencil. Now, if you check your top left of the screen, you can see the exact number of Copic I'll be using. I'm gonna start with his bottom shirt. For that, we are going to use orange tones. I'm gonna start with the brightest one and just fill this entire area. And as you can see, I'm coloring in the direction of the shape. Okay, that's very important. Next, I'm gonna use a slightly darker tone. That's gonna be our mid-tone. And we'll add the shaded area. For example, the shade he gets from the shirt on top. Next, we are going to use the darkest tone and we'll color the most shaded areas, the darkest areas. And now, you don't have to, but I usually like to blend some of the colors. So to blend them, what I'll do, I'm gonna use the mid-tone to blend the darkest tone with the mid-tone. And I'm gonna use the brightest tone to blend the brightest tone with the mid-tone. And I actually did it before, that's why you don't see it right now. But if you move a couple seconds back, you can see. Awesome, and this is the result we are going after. So now I'm gonna proceed by coloring the shirt on top. For that, we are going to use blue tones. I'm gonna start by coloring the brightest areas. And as you can see, the light source for this drawing will be mainly from the left side, meaning that the right side will be, of course, darker. Next, I'm gonna use the mid-tone, again coloring in the direction of the shape. gonna do some blending with the brightest tone. And then I'm gonna use the darkest tone for the most shaded areas. I'm gonna do some blending. Now you don't have to, but if you want, you can use another blue tone just to add a nice blue tint as well. Okay, so now I'm going to color the rest of the shirts with the same method I just explained. I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm gonna start with the brightest tone, filling all the area, coloring in the direction of the shape. Next, I'm gonna use the mid-tone, adding all the shaded areas. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna use the darkest tone for all the darkest areas. And then I'm gonna do some blending and adjustments until I'm satisfied. Awesome, so once we are done with the shirts, we can focus on the skin tone. But first, make sure to color this area. You for some reason forgot, and as you can see, I'm also making it a bit darker. Okay, so back to the skin tones. We're going to use 3 different tones as well. Just like before, I'm gonna start with the brightest one. Then I'm gonna add some shade with the mid-tone. As you can see, the shoulder muscles split to 3 different parts. And then I'm gonna add the darkest tone and obviously blend. Awesome, so we are going to do the same process for the chest and the neck muscles. However, if you pay attention in the middle, just because I want to get that nice gradient, and that also makes the chest pop out more. Awesome, so now we're going to color the earrings. We're going to use some yellow, orange, goldish tones for that. And for the earring holder, I guess you can use some gray tones. Awesome, so now we can color the face. Again, we're going to use the same skin tones. I'm gonna fill all this area, but I'm gonna leave some blank areas on the bumps above his eye and on the bottom lip as well. again because those areas sticks out more and they'll get more light. Next I'm gonna use the mid-tone and I'm gonna color all the shaded areas. For example, the shade he gets from his hair, the shade below the eyes, and of course on his right side of the face because of the light source. We are going to use the darkest tone with a minimal use, but as you can see it adds a lot to the drawing. And now we are going to color the eyes. So for that we're going to use some reds, and I'm coloring with the same method, trying to get a nice gradient look. Now if you want to add more highlights, you can use the colorless blender, and what you'll do is soak the ink out of this area, and by that you make it look brighter. Awesome, and now we are ready to color the hair. So we're going to start with the eyebrows. Now we're going to use different red tones to separate the eye color from the hair color. I'm gonna start with the mid-tone and just fill in all the areas. As you can see, I'm using the same tone to add shade, just by adding more layers. Awesome. So next I'm gonna demonstrate how to color one spike of hair. First I'm gonna use the brightest tone. As you can see, I'm coloring in the direction of the shape. I know I'm repeating myself again and again, but that's important, so pay attention. Next I'm gonna use the mid-tone. As you can see, I'm adding it to the right side, again because of the light. Next I'm gonna do some blending with the brightest tone. Then I'm gonna use the darkest tone with a minimal amount. And then to add more highlight, I'm gonna use the colorless blender to soak some of that ink. And this is the result we are going after. So I'm gonna do the same process for the entire hair, and we'll continue once I'm done. Awesome! So, the last thing we are going to do is take a gray tone and add some shade below the eyebrows. And now please lower the volume a bit. We're going to do this ceremonial and we are done, everybody. And we are done! Everybody? So, this is how you draw Super Saiyan God Vegito. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know how you did in the comment section. And if you want to see more tutorials, you can check out my tutorials playlist. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up to support my channel. Share the video with your drawing buddies and subscribe. I upload new videos every weekend. Keep being awesome and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.